Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. Earlier this morning, one of India's most highly regarded and much loved lawyers, Soli Sorabji, passed away. Soli was Attorney General of India on two separate occasions, and before that, he was also Solicitor General. But more importantly, Soli was perhaps one of the biggest names to have embraced the Indian bar. When people talk about India's great lawyers, his name is there right at the very top. But Soli was more than just a lawyer. He was an accomplished clarinet player, a lover of jazz music, a bon vivant, a raconteur, and a terrific host. Those who knew him and had the good grace to be his friends would remember the lovely evenings they spent in his home, enchanted by his company, enthralled by his stories. Joining me now to remember Soli Sorabji is one of India's well-known lawyers, the former president of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Dushyant Dave. Dushyant Dave, tell me, what sort of impact, what sort of legacy does Soli Sorabji leave behind?
Well, it's a legacy where I can definitely say with great amount of confidence that he will be remembered for a long, long time. And his contribution to the bar, to jurisprudence in the country, to fight for human rights, for freedom of speech and expression, and etc., will really be always invaluable for the judiciary and all stakeholders in the judiciary.
I gather he played a critical role in some of the seminal cases that have come before the Supreme Court. The Bomai case is one of them. I believe he also was involved in the Keshav Nand Bharti case. He's clearly a lawyer who's left his mark on many important cases.
You are absolutely right. Mr. Sorabji must have argued thousands and thousands of cases, and so many of them were so important. But I think his contribution during emergency speaks out the most, because that was a time when Mr. Sorabji defended everybody who needed to be defended, whether it was a journalist, whether it was a lawyer, whether it was a judge, whether it was a citizen, all of who were detained by Mrs. Gandhi's government illegally. Mr. Sorabji was at the forefront in leading, legal help to all those people and getting many of them freed. So his contribution was amazing. It's not just that Mr. Sorabji educated the nation about fundamental rights, but he was one of those who really fiercely defended fundamental rights of the citizens within the courtrooms. And that is very, very satisfying, because those were not the cases where he was being paid. He was doing all those cases pro bono. And I would always say that his contribution during that period was invaluable contribution. Besides that, his role as Attorney General was a fantastic role. And I must say that an Attorney General is not just the first lawyer for the government, but he is truly a constitutional upholder. He is truly a representative of the people and repository of public interest. Mr. Sorabji took the office of the Attorney General to a very fine level, because we must remember the highest standard were set in that office by none other than Motilal Setalvad, followed by Daftari and many others. But Mr. Sorabji also, like Ashok Desai later, really took fantastic care to see that the traditions and the respect and the impartiality of that office was well maintained. So I must say that today, in last few years, I must say with great regret, the office of Attorney General has really been reduced in value. But Mr. Sorabji had kept that office very, 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 very well protected.
People will remember Soli Sorabji not just as a highly accomplished, distinguished, learned lawyer or Attorney General, or before that Solicitor General, but also as a very warm face on television, always smiling, but never hesitant or shy to speak his mind, and frequently critical of the powers of the day, and I should add, frequently critical of the government we have today. He became an institution on television, didn't he? Whenever there was a legal case, everyone said, Soli Sorabji is the person to first turn to.
I would say, Karan, that post-independence, Mr. Sorabji is the most well-known face as a lawyer. And there is nobody comparable to him. And on every issue, Mr. Sorabji always stood firm for the citizens, for the country, for the constitution. And this is something very remarkable about Mr. Sorabji, that he would never hesitate to really express himself. Even if he had to criticize judges, he would be more than willing to criticize the judges. I do not know of any other lawyer. There are many lawyers who are more successful, but I know of no other lawyer who was as accomplished as Mr. Sorabji was in various fields, whether it was as a writer, whether it was as a kind of a contributor to newspapers, his soliloquies, whether as a music lover, whether as a public speaker, you name the field, that Mr. Sorabji would shine out. And this is very important because he was a fantastic connectivity between public at large and the judiciary. And this is very important, that he could carry a message to the people about what law courts are, what they are supposed to do, what they are not doing as they are supposed to do, and what your rights are and how you should protect those rights. Mr. Sorabji's contribution was really unbelievable. And I must tell you something, besides all this, one thing about Mr. Sorabji at the bar, that he had a phenomenal sense of humor. And he could mimic virtually every judge and every top lawyer of the Supreme Court. And in the corridors of Supreme Court, he would regale us with mimicking all those judges and lawyers. And I tell you, he could put any stand-up comedian to shame. He was so good about it. And he was so witty that, yes.
We're talking about
there was one particular occasion.
Go ahead.
No, you please say.
No, please, you're about to tell us an anecdote. I'd like to hear that anecdote about Sori. What happened on that one occasion?
Yeah, there are many, but one is very interesting, that apparently one day, he used to love fooling people on the phone calls. In those days, there were those landlines. And one day he picked up a phone and, wanted to mimic somebody. And he mimicked a top lawyer. It so happened that the caller on the other side was that top lawyer himself. And Mr. Sorabji was really absolutely flabbergasted about it. I won't name that lawyer, but I can tell you it really became a very funny situation. On another occasion, Mr. Sorabji, we had this great lawyer called A.M. Mullah, who has written some finest books on the legal subjects. Very respected name. Mr. Sorabji, on one particular Eid day, he wished him and said, "Happy Eid," thinking that Mr. Mullah is a Muslim gentleman. It so happened that Mr. Mullah was not Muslim, but was a Kashmiri Pandit. And so he said, "Mr. Sorabji, you are wishing me, but you don't know that my religion is Hinduism. I am not a Muslim." Sorabji had a quick sense of, he was very quick on his feet. So he immediately turned and said, "Mr. Mullah, I am a true Christian. I like to wish everybody on every good occasion. So I am wishing you on this good occasion." Man's wit, the man's, this thing on feet was absolutely marvelous.
You mentioned his capacity for mimicry, his sense of humor, his capacity for repartee. There was another side to him as well. He was a great lover of music. He was an accomplished player of the clarinet, and he was extremely fond of jazz. That was almost a second love for him, wasn't it?
I'll tell you a very interesting story. Many years ago, I think it was in the late 80s, there was a case that Sorabji was leading me for being argued in Patna High Court for this well-known company called Dabur. And we were going to Patna. Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, our present law minister, was our local lawyer in Patna. And Mr. Sorabji always liked that when we would go outstation, one of us should go and pick him up in our car and go to the airport. So flight was at 5:30 in the morning. I reached his house at about 3:45 in the morning. he was absolutely ready at 3:45. He was sitting in his drawing room and loud jazz music was playing at 3:45 a.m. And it was so beautiful to see this man, and he was reading R.K. Lakshman's, book, cartoon book in the morning. That sight still does not go out of my mind. It was absolutely amazing to see how full of life the man was. He really lived every moment of his 91 years as a very, very fine human being. A very nice, very, light-hearted, I would almost call him a romantic personality. A very, very romantic personality that he was.
He was also a great host and a bon vivant. He would love small little dinner parties. People would sit in his drawing room. He would conduct the conversation. He would arrange little quarrels, which he loved to see, and he kept a superb table. I think he was very fond of social company and being with people whose conversation he liked.
I think Mr. Sorabji, on a social level, was an outstanding friend. And cutting across the age gap, it was really nice to see Mr. Sorabji treating everybody as equals in the evenings. Many a times it so happened that I and my wife would be in, Bangalore or Bombay or Ahmedabad, and Sorabji would be there for a case. And once he would find out that we are there, he would invariably invite us. And, the evening would be outstanding. It would be a memorable evening, full of anecdotes, full of stories, lots of laughter, lots of humor, and of course, excellent wine. So, Mr. Sorabji lived his life as on a social level. He was a fine host, absolutely fine host. And the amount of parties he must have thrown in Delhi, I don't think any other, person or a lawyer particularly would have thrown. He was very large-hearted. I can share with you that top lawyers are not so large-hearted and do not like to spend money on others. But Mr. Sorabji was different. He always liked to entertain people, and that made him very, very different. I must tell you one more interesting anecdote about him. There was a matter which was going on in High Court. In those days, Mr. Sorabji's chamber has produced some of the finest lawyers of the country. Mr. Salve, Mr. Anu Haksar, Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, Justice Lalit, who's our Supreme Court judge, and many, many others. They came out of his chamber. On one of those hearings, I remember I was in Delhi High Court before Chief Justice Prakash Narayan's bench, and Mr. Sorabji, sitting next to him was Mrs. Subramaniam, Roxna, Mr. Salve, Mr. Anu Haksar, and the briefing solicitors. And suddenly Anu Haksar decided to go out while Sorabji was arguing the case. So Sorabji suddenly turned towards his chair and asked, "Where is Anu?" And Salve being Salve, he cracked a little, this thing on him. He said, "He's gone for gin and tonic." So Sorabji loudly in the court, everybody could hear, "Gin and tonic at this time?" And the whole court burst out laughing. So Mr. Sorabji had this, very unusual way of, dealing with matters. And he could really, one of the things about him was, he was par excellence in advocacy. Par excellence. His way of persuading the judges was so, so beautiful. It was so charming that he could, win over even the most hostile of the judges. He may or may not succeed. For example, he was diametrically opposite to likes of Krishna Iyer and Chinnappa Reddy because they were socialists. Sorabji was not. But yet, the amount of love they shared for each other, the respect that they shared for each other was fantastic. So, this is something about Mr. Sorabji's personality, that cutting across philosophies, cutting across religions, cutting across states, cutting across age group, or gender diversity, Mr. Sorabji could appeal to all and could win over everybody. I think he had the largest friend circle that any lawyer can ever have from every walk of life.
One thing is absolutely true, Dushyanta, and you brought it home forcefully for us. We're going to find it very difficult to replace Soli Sorabji. It's hard to believe that there can be another like him in a hurry. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for bringing to life a man who's passing away today, leaves a huge void for not just his friends, but for millions and millions of Indians who knew him as a lawyer or as a face on television. Thank you, Dushyanta.